Howdy folks, we are here in the garage and today I'm going to be removing the fog from my headlights. Since I've owned my 2014 Subaru Outback, it's obviously sat in the sun quite a bit, and UV rays have removed the protective covering on my polycarbonate headlights, giving them kind of a foggy, hazy look. It makes my headlights less effective at night, and I decided I'm going to do something about it, so I went down to the local hardware store and picked up a kit. So you're going to need a drill for this project. If you don't have a drill, I highly recommend going down to Harbor Freight. They've got some really good deals. It's not going to be the best drill in the world. It's not going to last you a million years, but it'll definitely get the job done. You can find these kits online or at your local hardware store. And don't forget sealant to protect your headlights from damaging UV rays. The kit that I purchased came with polish, 2 different types of fine grit sandpaper, a rubber buffer, and a cloth polisher. Obviously, you need to clean your headlights before you even get started. And make sure to use masking tape to cover areas just around your headlights so you don't do any damage to your paint. Don't do what I'm doing here. Make sure you use 2 hands and long, even strokes when you're sanding. Also, don't oversand areas of the headlight because it can be very hard to buff out later. Same principle applies with this finer grit sandpaper. Go smooth and slow over the headlights and make sure you've covered all of the surface area evenly. You need to have moisture on the lens at all times when you're using the rubber buffer, and you'll see that it makes a white slurry as you're buffing the lens. If you're not satisfied with how smooth the lens looks, you can go back and use that finer grit sandpaper to do another round on the lenses. There was plenty of polish in the pouch, so I ended up going over the lenses 3 or 4 times just to make sure they look great. Applying sealant is crucial if you don't want your headlights to fog up quickly. My car is usually parked out in the driveway in the sun, so I applied 3 layers of this, letting each layer dry before I added the next. The final result is night and day. They come out looking almost brand new if you just go really smooth and slow over the lenses while you're using the fine grit sandpaper. I probably could have done a better job on these, but unless you're really close looking at the lenses, you can't see the small imperfections. All right, folks, I got the headlights polished. I got the UV protectant applied. Hopefully that'll make them last longer without getting that foggy, hazy look again for a while. If you have a newer car, I recommend taking it into a shop and having a professional do it. I also recommend if you take on this project, use a corded drill. I ran out of batteries halfway through the project and had to stop. It made it a 2-day project. If you have a corded drill, it should only take you like 2 hours at the most. And also get a kit that has the UV sealant. The kit that I purchased for whatever reason did not have the UV sealant, so double check that your kit does have that UV sealant. Overall, I think it turned out great. Use long, slow strokes when you do it. I didn't exactly do that on all the parts. Use 2 hands. Apply smooth pressure across the lens as you're doing the fine grit sanding, and take your time. The longer you take with the finer grit sanding, the better it'll look overall. And if you want further tips and demonstrations, I'm going to post video links below. And we'll see you next time.